Good morning. It's Friday, March 27th, and I was actually praying about what to say this morning a couple of minutes ago because I didn't know. I didn't know what to. I was like, God, what do you want me to say? And I actually started praying for my family and praying that our minds would be protected. And then I remembered in my devotional this morning, one of the verses was from Romans 12, and it is all about be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And then I started thinking about this sermon from this past Sunday, and the pastor said, where your mind is where you go. It's the direction that you go. So the thoughts that you think, that's what leads you, which is really, really powerful. And I just think it's so neat because when we follow Jesus and when we start to learn about him and who we are in him and his love, he calls us, and Paul in the letter to the Romans called us to be transformed by our mind. And that's literally looking at the world and what the world does and how we have to be transformed from that. It's like the world's ways and God's ways are different, but the beauty of God's ways is that it actually brings freedom. And so there's so much emphasis put on our mind and our thoughts, and I just think it's so interesting how we're called to be transformed, and Jesus cares about our minds and what we're thinking, and he calls us to be grateful and to be in his presence and seeking him, because in that we really know the right way to go and to have our focus on. So when our minds and our eyes are fixed on Jesus and what he's doing and how big he is, we don't have time for all the other worries and anxieties of life, and those can't keep going around in our head over and over, because we're almost focused on a higher purpose and letting the Holy Spirit control our mind, and that just brings peace. So this morning my prayer for you is that your minds would be transformed, and that your thought patterns and just what you think about is impacted by God's truth and who he says you are and how amazing that is, and also just what he wants us to focus on. And I just pray that brings you peace today.